Okay, we're about to go live with Detroit Police Chief Craig. We tried to go live on Justin's account and it didn't work, so now I'm trying on here.
Do they know to look out for it there?
Nope. Okay, waiting for him to join. Okay. Okay, are we ready?
You can't turn on Do Not Disturb. It's going to turn off the Wi-Fi.
Nope, didn't.
Really?
Yep, I'm still on.
Huh.
I am still on, guys. Okay, now nothing's working. You know what we should do? Let's get him on the phone and then just do it over the phone and we can be live. Don't you think? Yes. Okay, you guys. So we are going, call Christy. We're going to, since this shared Instagram live with police Chief Craig from Detroit isn't working, we're going to call him up right now and talk to him on the phone. We'll still be live, but you'll hear him on the phone, and that way he can talk us through. He just recovered from COVID. He's already back, and we just donated through Bella Canvas 25,000 masks and touchless thermometers, and Ford Motor Company just donated
Chief Craig, you there?
protected face shields to all first responders.
Great. It's Justin Verlander. How are you?
I think he's on the phone.
Man, sorry about this. I think Instagram's having some issues, or we're having some issues. Don't know which one.
Yeah.
But
You want to put him on speaker?
I'm gonna put you on speaker real quick.
It could be me, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you doing, Kate? How's everything?
Good. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Right. I was hoping to get in.
That's
I
okay.
know.
We got it figured out.
I'll keep trying if you want to watch on your end, and I'll keep.
Okay. You want me to go back to the beginning of your page? I'll just.
Yeah. I'm live from my account.
So you're live, so I could hit it again and see what happens.
Yeah.
I'll keep trying if you want to.
So thank you so much for joining us. I know how busy you must be, and
No, this is not a problem.
we're so happy to hear that you're healthy and doing well. Do you mind sharing us a little bit about your COVID experience?
I can hear you.
We're so happy to hear that you're healthy and doing well. Do you mind sharing us a little bit about your
Oh, yes. Can you hear me loud and clear now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I can tell you, it's been an interesting journey, a very interesting journey, and I'm fortunate. I'm COVID-free now, but so many of our police officers have really been suffering. As you know, one died and another one of our civilians passed, so it's been a tough time here in the city of Detroit. But I got to tell you, to Justin, to Kate, I really appreciate all that you're doing for the Detroit Police Department. I mean, when you talk about the shields, the masks, the no-touch thermometers, those things are just so much we needed. And we appreciate it. Certainly, the financial help on food. Detroit Police Department loves you both and appreciates you. And I got to tell you, Art Acevedo is my friend out there in Houston. But I told him we want Justin back to Detroit.
Yeah.
Chief, this is Christy. Maybe just X out of Instagram Live. I think it's just getting some feedback, and we'll do it on speaker. Just keep doing it on speakerphone.
You want me to do it on speaker?
Yeah.
We'll just keep talking on the phone like you are. Maybe just X off Instagram. Anyone else on the line can mute it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little
better.
bit better. Sorry to interrupt, but we can try video another time. But for now, everyone can just talk like this.
All right. Thanks for taking the time. I'm sure I know you're really busy. I know Kate and I are really interested to hear, I think first and foremost, a little bit about your experience with COVID-19. We are very fortunate, Kate and I, to not have any family members or close friends to have had it. So we're really interested to hear a little bit about what you experienced.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to tell you something. Like most Michiganders, this time of year I suffer with allergies. The typical, nasal drip, itchy eyes, and sometimes even a cough. And so the cough just started to linger, and I started to really pay attention to what the doctors were saying about COVID and coughing, and so I got tested, and I was actually shocked when a day later I came back and they said, "You're positive." And it was then, after the positive finding, that I experienced a fever, chills, certainly didn't want to eat, very weak. And so it was all of those things I was going through. But one thing that I really began to, fight back on is that this disease will consume you once it takes you over. And I think for me, I didn't want to go into the hospital. I was already quarantined at home. And so the doctor told me, he said, "Well, don't really want you to work out because I'm an avid fitness person. And I've always been for my time in Los Angeles." And so he said, "Just start very slowly." So I started very slowly. The first day, 10 minutes of cardio killed me. I was down for the day. The next day I upped it. So I continued to push back on this deadly disease. My appetite returned. I got more and more energy. And so I just kept fighting to the point that I got well. I got retested a couple of days ago, and I came back negative. But I will tell you, it was a frightening experience. It's nothing like what many of the members in the department have gone through, those who have been hospitalized on ventilators, on oxygen, some who are at home right now, still fighting. And so I was very fortunate. But I think going through this experience really has helped me more effectively lead the organization, because now I'm talking from a place of experience.
Yeah.
But I tell you, Justin and Kate, these men and women, these police officers who are really fighting this unknown enemy, just nothing short of amazing. We had so many of our officers quarantined late March. We're trying to quickly figure out how to staff up our stations so we can continue to deliver service. We didn't have any interruptions in that, but now that we've got this rapid test process here in Detroit, it's worked wonders. In fact, when I went back for my test a couple of days ago, I went in, and within 15 minutes, I had a result, and it was negative. And so we're getting a lot of our officers back on the job because of this rapid testing. But I got to tell you, certainly the generous donations you're part of, the shields from Ford Motor Company, that's going to be able to outfit every officer, the masks, 25,000 of them, the thermometers, which we so desperately need. And now that we're testing officers twice during a shift, and then certainly feeding our first responders, I just can't thank you enough on behalf of the Detroit Police Department for your generosity.
I appreciate that. When obviously, like everyone else, we've been reading a lot about this pandemic and hearing what was happening up there, a place that's very still near and dear to Kate and I, was obviously difficult to hear about. So we just wanted to help the best way we could. So that's when we reached out and asked what you guys could use to most benefit your jobs and facilitate you being able to do your job in the community without risking yourself or everybody else. And So that's how we got the idea to donate the masks and the touchless thermometers. So can you tell us just a little bit about how those will help facilitate that out in the community, and also how the donating of the masks, of the 25,000 masks, donating those throughout the community and spreading those to those in need of masks will also help?
It would be tremendous. I think just through your efforts, it's going to be substantial. If we knew what we knew now, early on when we were fighting this enemy, we didn't know the impact that masks could have on our police officers in the field. We were already starting to see a flattening of the number of officers who are testing positive. Even our numbers in the hospital, I know a few days ago we had 13. Now, as of today, we're down to 5. And so the mask would be tremendous. Certainly the no-touch thermometers. Every day we have a briefing. And one of the things that came up during the briefing is the fact that we just don't have enough thermometers. Mm-hmm. And so tremendous help in making sure we can identify those might be, exhibiting some fever, some symptoms early on, that we can protect other police officers and certainly protect the community. So this will go a long way. And I believe that these donations are going to make a phenomenal difference in what we're doing here in the city of Detroit. Even so much so, as you know, we were, as of 2 days ago, ranked 3rd in the country.
Yeah.
We dropped. Massachusetts has gone ahead of us, and I think we're going to continue to drop. And in a large part is what we're doing here in Detroit. The masks, thermometers, especially for our first responders. And I know every man and woman who dons the uniform certainly is going to appreciate you, Justin, and Kate, for making this happen.
Well, we are so happy to help, especially with all the sacrifices you and your team and all the first responders are making. Can you tell us if there's a rise in violence or in need for you guys? I know that we were told there's a lot of domestic violence going on since COVID.
Right. And, initially we saw a little uptick. It started to flatten out. I think March 13th is when the stay-at-home orders were put in place. So we started to see a decline, and we had an uptick that didn't make any sense in violence. And now, finally, we're really starting to see it. Our violence curve flatten out and even drop. I mean, even our violence crime, our property crimes have really dropped. And so I think going forward, we're going to continue to see a crime decline. One of the things we had to do early on when we quarantined so many officers, I had to move a lot of our specialized officers out of these investigative units back into patrol, because first and foremost, we wanted to make sure that we were responding to emergency calls for service. And then the unthinkable happened. One of our dispatchers became ill, and following his illness, we really didn't know why he was sick. He ended up dying, and on the same day that he died,
I'm so sorry.
It was COVID. So we had to shut down our communications center. But the good news in that, we put a backup in when I got here almost 7 years ago. And so we were able to fire up the backup system. And so we didn't have any disruption to handling emergencies. And now we're back into our center. So all the things that could kind of go wrong did, but we certainly planned for these emergencies. And it's worked well. All the officers that we moved out of the specialized units are now back. So they'll go back into crime-fighting mode to make sure that the city is safe. So things are now moving in the right direction, but we are still very much in the midst of this fight.
Yeah. Did I hear you say that you're testing officers on duty twice daily? Is that what you said?
No, not the actual COVID test, but what we're doing, so we take officers in and we check their temperature twice daily.
Oh, okay.
And the reason
thus
why
the thermometers.
is an indicator that if an officer's temperature is high, they may be exhibiting signs of COVID.
Yes.
So we take them out of the work environment sooner than later because we know how quickly this disease can spread. You may have heard about when the early COVID started to hit the police department, many of our officers attended a breakfast, a community breakfast. One of the moderators got ill and subsequently died from COVID. We ended up having to quarantine upwards of 25 officers. And several of them came back COVID positive just from that one event.
Wow.
And some think that was the initial beginning on the impact of the department, but there were several other things that were going on at the same time. But when I look at my numbers now, they're so much lower. I tell you what's really impressive is as of today, we've returned 753 members of the police department since we started quarantines, which is big for us.
Yeah.
Because we were at close to 14% of our department being out of service. But then as of today, having just 300 sworn civilian quarantine is a much lower number than what we saw even as recent as last week. So we are moving in the right direction. I got to believe the safety precautions that we've put in place. And we know that the additional help that you all are providing is going to certainly speed up that process of our first responders coming back full strength.
Great.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't get the Instagram going very well, but we really appreciate you taking the time and telling us your story and explaining a bit about what's going on there on the front lines in Detroit.
Yeah, and we are just so happy that you were healthy. And
I appreciate you all doing this too. I mean, this means a lot to me personally, and I know every Detroit police officer. We know that you're still a Detroiter.
I'm the one from Michigan, actually.
You're from Michigan? Well, but Justin's been adopted into as a
Exactly. Oh, I know. Yes, he is for sure very loved in Detroit.
Absolutely, still loved, in fact.
Thank you.
So we appreciate you both, and thank you so much from every.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you're sacrificing and for helping everybody out there. We are so appreciative of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Stay safe, and thank you.
I will. And you likewise. Please stay safe.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Police Chief Craig, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Wow, that was sorry, it didn't work so well with the Instagram, but it was great to talk to him.
So amazing to speak with him.
Actually, the first person we've spoken to directly that's had COVID-19. So just interesting to hear his story and talk about how much he needed to fight. It's cool to hear.
Yeah, it really was. And to hear that, he really was the lucky one. It's even worse for some people. So appreciate his time, and I appreciate everybody coming in and joining and listening. Thank you guys so much. You see, there are a lot of questions. Okay, well, probably not going to answer them right now. This is a lot.
Maybe we'll do a Q&A.
Yeah, we'll do a Q&A.
God knows we got time on our hands.
Next week or something. Okay, guys, stay safe out there. Thanks for joining. Bye.